Good morning. For the record, my name is Tanya Fernandez Anderson, the District 7 City Councilor. I am the Chair of the Boston City Council Committee on Ways and Means. This hearing is being recorded. It is being live streamed at boston.gov/city-council-TV and broadcast on Xfinity Channel 8, RCN Channel 82, and Fios Channel 964. The Council's budget review process will encompass a series of public hearings beginning in April and running through June. We strongly encourage residents to take a moment and engage in this process by giving testimony for the record. You can do this in several ways: attend one of our hearings and give public testimony. We will take public testimony in the middle of each department hearings and also at hearing dedicated to public testimony. The full hearing schedule is on our website at boston.gov/council-budget. Our scheduled hearing dedicated to public testimony is Wednesday, May 17th at 6 p.m. And you can give testimony in person as well here in the chamber or virtually via Zoom. For in-person testimony, please come to the chamber and sign up on the sheet near the entrance. For virtual testimony, you can sign up using our online form on our council budget review website or by emailing the committee at ccc.wm@boston.gov. When you are called to testify, please state your name and affiliation or residence and limit your comments to 2 minutes and ensure that all comments and concerns can be heard. Email your written testimony to the committee at ccc.wm@boston.gov. Submit a 2-minute video of your testimony through a form on the website. For more information on the City Council budget process and how to testify, please visit the City Council's budget website at boston.gov/council-budget. Today's hearing is on dockets 0760 to 0762, orders for the FY24 operating budget, including annual appropriations for departmental operations for the school department and for other post-employment benefits, OPEB, docket 0763, docket 0765 to 0766, orders for capital fund transfer appropriations, docket 0764, 0767 to 0768, orders for the capital budget, including loan orders and lease purchase agreements. Our focus area for this hearing will be an overview of the FY24 budget for the Office of Black Male Advancement, the Office of LGBTQ+ Advancement, the Office of Returning Citizens, and the Office of Human Services. Our panelists for today's hearing are Frank Farrow, Director of Office Black Male Advancement, Quincy Roberts, Director of Office LGBTQ+ Advancement, Jose Masso, Chief of Human Services, Office of Human Services, and Office of Returning Citizens. Before I go into explaining our format, we've been joined today by my council colleague, Aaron Murphy at large, Council President Ed Flynn, D2, Councilor Ruzi Louis-Jean at large, Councilor Gabriela Coletta, D1, Councilor Brian Worrell, D4. For our format, we'll first go to the administration for your presentation, whether you have a slide deck or just talking points, however you choose to present it is fine. I will go to first my council colleagues for 30 seconds of introduction or opening statements, and then quickly your presentation. You'll each have 10 minutes or more if you need it for your presentation. We'll go to round 1, 5 minutes questions from the councilors. If there are any in-person people signed up for public testimony, just 2 minutes each for public testimony. Then round 2, we will do a second round of 5 minutes if time allows, if not 3 minutes. For my council colleagues, in the order of arrival, however, if you leave for longer than a period of time and you've missed your turn, I will put you at the bottom of the list and you will go accordingly to the round that we're in. So for example, if you come back and it's round 3, you'll only get 3 minutes as opposed to 5 minutes for each. So without further ado, Councilor Murphy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for being here. Looking forward to this hearing. I just think of, what my parents always said, no matter how bad things seem, look for the helpers. And when I look at the people in front of me today, you're helping our constituents in so many ways. So just looking forward to hearing how it's going. Some of you are new departments, others have been around forever, and just making sure that I'm doing all I can to support and advocate the work you're doing on behalf of the residents of the city of Boston and beyond. So thank you, Chair. I look forward to the hearing.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Councilor President Flynn.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Madam Chair, for the important work you're doing as well. On the Office of Black Male Advancement, this is an office that works to ensure that black men and boys have equitable access to all opportunities in the city, to improve outcomes and reduce barriers for black men and boys. I've been to a number of meetings with my colleague, Councilor Brian Worrell, and we're there to listen and to learn about the challenges faced by many black men and boys. And just want to say thank you to you, Frank, for the important work you are doing, but also the respect that you show everybody at this meeting, and very inclusive. So thank you for that important leadership. And as well, my friend Quincy Roberts at the LGBTQ advancement. We also have seen over the city a lot of discrimination, bullying, intimidation, whether it's at Children's Hospital, whether it's in the South Boston waterfront or Back Bay with these Nazi groups harassing people of color and LGBTQ residents, Children's Hospital, as I mentioned. But we're fortunate to have someone like Quincy Roberts that stands up and fights for civil rights of all people, in making sure people in this city are treated with respect and dignity. So I want to say thank you to Quincy and to Jose, as well as Jose Masso at the Office of Human Services, making sure residents have access to city services, public health, sports, and youth programs. So it's all of us working together. So I want to say thank you to this team that's here, and appreciate the important work you're doing, but also the commitment you're showing to residents across the city of Boston. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Council President Flynn. Councilor Coletta.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all so much for your leadership. I have deep respect and admiration for everything that you all have done so far through your various departments, especially, Quincy, you and I have been in partnership on many issues, so I look forward to checking in with some of the things that you're working on. Frank, I see what your office is doing on social media. You are everywhere. You all are doing an incredible job just ensuring black men and in other departments, returning citizens have equitable access to opportunities, and they're in a city where they feel loved and supported and can thrive. So I do look forward to diving into the details and figuring out how we can best support you all. Thank you.
Councilor Worrell.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the panel. I'm a big fan of the panel's work, so I just want to thank you for your leadership and your dedication to the City of Boston and to making sure that equity and inclusiveness is being, present and forefront in all that you do. I also believe that this is you guys are approaching your 1-year anniversary, so I just want to say big congratulations on that. And anything that I can do to be supportive of your work, please, just a phone call, email away. I've been to the Black Males meeting on a consistent basis, but also Quincy, let me know how you want to pull me into the work, and Chief Masso, always seeing you out and about in the community. So yeah, let me know how I could be supportive of all your work, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for the work that you do for the City of Boston.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Farrow, I have you first on my list, but it doesn't have to go in that order. Do you guys have a preference who goes first?
I'll go first, Madam Chair.
You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to council body for hosting this session this morning. Glad to be here to share the work that we're doing with the Office of Black Male Advancement. I have a brief slide deck that I'll show. The Office of Black Male Advancement strives to improve outcomes and reduce systemic barriers to advancement for black men and boys in Boston. Our office works to empower black men and boys. We want to ensure they have equitable access to opportunities in the city. As part of our work, we focus on policies, programs, resources, and local and national partnerships. Our goal is to ensure black men and boys have the support to thrive and share in our city's prosperity. As we are in year one of our office, our focus currently is economic opportunity and workers' empowerment, public health and wellness, fatherhood and families, education and youth advancement, affordable housing and pathways to home ownership, community safety, and returning citizens. So far in FY23, in our initial year in office, we have launched the Commission on Black Men and Boys, which is made up of 21 community members that advise the mayor, the Office of Black Male Advancement in the City of Boston on issues pertaining to black men and boys. And they meet monthly, and they make recommendations, and they have released a number of recommendations to the mayor that we have shared with the council body as well, and as well as the general public. We now house My Brother's Keeper Boston, which was previously under the Office of Community Engagement, and that is the program that was created by former President Obama, which focused on improving outcomes for young black males ages 8 to 24. We also house Project Opportunity, which is a program that's aimed to create equitable opportunities for individuals with CORIs. In that program, we focus on helping with CORI sealing and expungement, as well as connecting individuals to CORI-friendly job opportunities and other resources. We recently completed 2 inaugural programs for civic organizing and leadership. One is Black Men Lead Boston, which focuses on black men in the city of Boston, making sure that they become leaders in their community and give them the tools so they can advocate for the betterment of themselves and their peers. And then we also mirror that program with Young Black Leaders, which is a high school focused program focused on civic organizing and leadership for young people to have a voice in their schools as well as in their communities. We released a report titled The State of Black Males in Boston that looks at wide-ranging inequities facing black men and boys that will serve as a driving point for us as we continue to push the move for improvement and advancement for black men and boys in the city of Boston. And we recently launched our Community Empowerment Small Grant Fund totaling $500,000. And this fund is for community-based serving organizations serving the black men and boys community in Boston to scale up their programs and deepen their impact serving black men and boys in the city. As well as launching a nonprofit Capacity Building Institute. And that institute provides technical assistance to community-based organizations that share our core values and strategies. The Institute provides capacity building solutions through a combination of one-on-one coaching, peer-to-peer learning, fundraising, governance, board management, storytelling, and compliance supports. And we created the capacity building off of the experience in us learning and engaging with our nonprofits and making sure that we provided additional support so they can continue to grow and increase their impact in supporting black men and boys in the city of Boston. Our goals for FY24, we will continue to facilitate the Black Men and Boys Commission meetings, publicize reports on the status of black men and boys in Boston, assist black male constituents and accessing programs, services, and critical information, connect Black male-serving organizations to resources, publicize critical resources to the Black male community, support city, state, and federal governments, community-based organizations, and private sector to more equitably serve our Black male residents, educate Boston residents on Black Men and Boys Commission, monitor and advise city agencies and departments on issues pertaining to Black men and boys, design projects and programs that promote equity for Black men and boys, which are currently not being implemented by existing city agencies, perform outreach, communication, and liaison to Black men and boys related to community groups and organizations, as well as coordinate dialogues and action on behalf of city government for issues that concern Black men and boys in related organizations. We are adding capacity to our team. We are currently, have to update the slide, a staff of 5. We were, as of Monday, we would be a staff of 5. So we recently hired for our research development manager, as well as our Black Men's Initiative Program Manager. Previously, myself, as well as Community Engagement Manager and My Brother's Keeper Manager, were doing the brunt of the work. And over these next few weeks, we are continuing our hiring process where we're looking to hire a Policy and Research Manager, Chief of Staff, Communications Manager. In this fiscal year, we created a position for specifically targeting support for our Black Men and Boys Commission. All of those positions are posted. We are reviewing applications and interviewing, working closely with our Commission on Black Men and Boys, as well as HR, to make sure that we continue to add capacity so we can meet the needs of Black men and boys in the city of Boston. And just some brief demographic data. Boston has approximately 90,000 Black male residents. 25% of Black males are children under 18. Black male residents are represented in every neighborhood in Boston, with the higher concentration in Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, and Hyde Park. The countries with the largest number of foreign-born Black males are Haiti, Jamaica, and Cabo Verde. And 24% of Black males have school-aged children residing in their residence. 94% of Black males have zero investment income over the age of 35. And so we're going to continue to work to address and close those gaps and work with our city partners and external partners to make sure we're making an impact for Black men and boys in the city of Boston. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Farrow. Did you say 98 or 90%? With over 35, with no investment?
94% of Black males over the age of 35 have $0 in investment income.
Thank you. Would the panelists prefer all going first and then we'll go straight into questions? Or should we do questions? Do you have to be somewhere? We're good?
I mean, we're good.
Okay, we'll go straight then.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll go next.
I'd like to acknowledge, that my council colleague at large, Councilor Julia Mejia has joined us.
All right.
Oh, Councilor Flaherty, you're not that small. I didn't miss you. I'd like to acknowledge that my council colleague at large, Councilor Mike Flaherty, has joined us. Thank you. Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Chair, and good morning to all the other councilors. I am Quincy J. Roberts Sr., and I use he, him, and his pronouns. I am the Executive Director for the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ+ Advancement. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been 10 months I've been waiting to come before you all and highlight this work that is so important to our LGBTQ+ community. I do have a PowerPoint, but I'm going to go with my words first. We want to show a strong commitment to our community, constituents, and our intersections within Boston. We know very well that the work we do within MOLA, which is the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ+ Advancement, is not only hard work, it's hard work. At times, our impact reaches a life and death height of importance from day-to-day living and thriving of our community to long-term policy and investments. In a time where the rights, liberties, and very existence of the LGBT community are being attacked across the country, the City of Boston is leading the charge to protect, elevate, and celebrate the voices of our vibrant, diverse LGBT community. Boston, although not perfect, is a place with rich history for celebrating the LGBT community, boasting some of the country's most pro-LGBTQ+ legislation. Now, while all of this is true, and the city has made tremendous progress, there remains a significant amount of work to be done to build a better city for our LGBTQ+ residents and their allies. Right here in our backyard, parents of trans youth have been threatened and ridiculed. Our seniors, while creating a safe and brave space with inclusive housing, are met with vandalism. Even story time with our children and drag performers have been met with resistance. LGBTQ+ individuals and the rest of the country are facing a public health crisis, specifically our youth. A survey from the Trevor Project this year has recently found that 45% of LGBT youth seriously consider attempting suicide, ending it all, in this past year. We are also in a housing crisis, of which the queer community and the QPOC community in Boston are facing a disproportionate impact. We all know in this room what's at stake. Over 471 anti-LGBTQ+ legislation in this country just this year. While the rest of the country is going backwards, I am grateful to be a part of this group that is leading Boston forward. Not only have my team and I been a model for what's possible, we continue to lead the way in this groundbreaking work. MOLA has not been afraid to engage in difficult conversations, especially regarding the work of LGBT rights and public safety. Within the first month of our existence, we hosted 3 public safety town halls. Within the third month, we hosted focus groups just to get a pulse on what the community actually wanted from this department. We will continue this type of transparency and open dialogue with the community members. One of our key initiatives this year was implementing the gender exclusivity ordinance passed by Mayor Wu last year. Over the past month, MOLA has been coalition building with some of the people in this very room today, partnering with Do It, Registry, People's Cabinet, and the digital service team to implement steps that will ensure that all city forms and documents are inclusive and respectful to Boston's sex and gender identities. We also are creating a city service that we can deliver dignity and respect to all people. In addition to our work improving city inclusivity and services, our team has focused on elevating and celebrating youth. In 2 weeks, in partnership with Boston Public Schools, Chief Masso, and the Office of Youth Engagement, and so many other partners, too many to name, we will be hosting our first ever Amplify GSA Summit, May 21st, 9 o'clock. The Youth Summit will bring together youth leaders, parents. I want to hold that 1 second, parents, because a lot of summits always just focus on youth. We're focusing on parents that have queer youth in their houses as well. So I really want to shout that out. In this conference, we have workshops, networking opportunity, youth leadership, and professional development. We also have a really dope performance by OOMPA. The Youth Summit is part of a larger MOLA goal to amplify Gender Sexuality Alliance at Boston Public Schools. So we will continue the partnership with Chief Masso and Superintendent Skipper to make sure this goal is met. With Amplify GSA, we are supporting the development of leadership skills, creating safe and brave spaces, fostering a better school climate, and enhancing inclusive learning environments for LGBT youth and their allies. Lastly, our office has directly been supporting the work that's already being done on the ground. I am so proud to announce here that just last Friday, our office sent out our first round of Beyond Pride mini grants, totaling over $157,000 to a very, very diverse group of individuals and grassroots organizations with strong ties to the community that are providing safe spaces, innovative, and critical services to LGBTQ plus Bostonians. MOLA has also invested in uplifting our LGBTQ plus older adults in the community with these mini grants. Some of the work I just want to highlight that we are focusing on in the senior community is LGBTQ plus senior housing, Pride in Hyde Park, Outstanding Life and LGBT plus elders of color. Our office continues to work in partnership with Age Strong and the other LGBT advocates to ensure that this city is a Boston that all can age with pride. With this Beyond Pride mini grant, we are very grateful to have. The office has been able to make intentional investments in our community, reaching some of the Boston's most diverse communities. We want to continue to invest in these individuals and these organizations to amplify, again, the work that's already being done. So, counselors, in closing, in this last 10 months, it's only been 10 months, MOLA has met the challenge of making Boston a better place for all. The team and I, we are super honored and grateful to be leading this work. We are grateful for your continued support and your resources. We look forward to doing it even bigger and slaying even more next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Roberts. Really appreciate the passion behind your presentation. Chief Masso, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you for being here today, and thanks to the other members of who are here in the chamber, Council Murphy, Council Coletta, Council President Flynn, Council Mejia. My name is Jose Masso, and I am the Chief of Human Services. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to represent the Office of Human Services and the Office of Returning Citizens. As you may have heard, the Office of Returning Citizens suffered a great loss this past week with the passing of Rupert Saunders. Rupert was the data intake coordinator at the ORC for almost 5 years. Rupert was the first person that many folks talked with when they were referred to the ORC, and he maintained a great many relationships with returning citizens he met over his 20-year career in the field. Rupert was himself a returning citizen, and he knew when to listen and empathize, but also when to deliver the hard truth. Mr. Saunders' services are tomorrow, and we extend our sincerest condolences to his wife, daughter, extended family, friends, and colleagues. I say all that to explain that this has been a very difficult week for the Office of Returning Citizens. For that reason, we have excused Executive Director David Mayo from this hearing. So I will take questions about both the Office of Returning Citizens and the Office of Human Services. I will quickly go through an opening statement, and then I'm happy to welcome your questions. The Human Services Cabinet is made up of 6 departments: Boston Centers for Youth and Families, Boston Public Library, Age Strong Commission, Office of Veteran Services, Office of Returning Citizens, and the Office of Youth Engagement and Advancement. Today's hearing will cover the main budget for the Office of Human Services and the Office of Returning Citizens, or ORC. Most of the other departments in our cabinet have their own separate budgets and have either already had hearings, Veteran Services and Age Strong, or have hearings scheduled in the coming weeks, BCYF and OEA. I would like to say from the outset that our budget is probably one of the more confusing ones for you to parse. In addition to Human Services and ORC, our budget also houses the Office of Youth Engagement and Advancement, which is a Human Services department, as I mentioned, as well as the staff and budgets for 4 senior advisors. That includes the Office of Community Safety under Isaac Yablo, the Office of Early Childhood, led by Kristen McSwain, the Coordinated Response Team, led by Tanya Del Rio, and the Children's Cabinet, led by Rebecca Granger. Of those units, I have direct oversight over my office, OHS, the ORC, and OEA. So when you look at the overall budget for Human Services Office, you see that it increased from $5.7 million to over $13 million in 1 year. Please keep in mind that some of that increase is also supporting the Office of Early Childhood, Community Safety, and Coordinated Response in addition to the departments I oversee. Overall, I am very pleased with the budget that the Mayor has proposed for the Human Services Cabinet in FY24. Our Cabinet is where the people are. We provide direct services in our libraries, community centers, and senior centers every day, and are proud to have locations in every neighborhood in the city. Our Cabinet's total proposed operating budget is $103 million. In FY24, we will see an increase of $12.3 million, which is roughly 13.6% over FY23. The primary drivers of this increase are investments in universal pre-K and in programming for seniors and youth. In addition, there are several investments at the library, including $750,000 to enable our branches to stay open longer on Saturdays. And since we have a number of facilities, our Cabinet has $358 million in the FY24 through 28 capital plan to maintain and renovate our many locations, as well as to build new facilities. The library's $154 million capital budget is advancing construction of the Common Square, Fields Corner, and Eggleston Square libraries. BCYF's $203 million capital budget is advancing the construction and maintenance of several assets across the city, including construction of a new community centers in Grove Hall and the North End, and repair of the Clarity Pool in Charlestown, and $2.3 million of general state of good repair investments for all of our pools, and repairs and improvements to the Tobin Community Center. Just last week, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary as Chief of Human Services. I am proud of the year that we've had, and I'm proud of the team that we built over the last year. We invested $1.5 million in youth development funds and programs that provide arts, sports, and enrichment programs to young people ages 10 to 24. This funding supports programming in every neighborhood and helps keep young people engaged in positive activities during the out-of-school time. We hired 3 department heads and supported the hiring of other staff to make sure that our departments have the personnel resources to best serve our residents. And we created and launched the Office of Youth Engagement and Advancement with the goal of making Boston a leader in youth empowerment. This year was a building year for the Office of Returning Citizens. As you recall, the ORC received an increase of almost $2 million in FY23. This investment enabled the ORC to expand from 2 employees to 8. The office now has a policy director, 3 case managers, and a director of operations, in addition to the positions it had before. The office just relocated from the Seaport to Dimmick Street and will formally open their new offices to the public next month. In addition to building the staff, the ORC has invested just over $1 million in grant funding for nonprofit organizations serving Boston's returning citizens. This funding is being used to support housing assistance, mutual aid, behavioral health, employment and training services, and much more. The ORC launched a voucher-based partnership with the Boston Housing Authority to provide vouchers to returning citizens along with supportive services. And in the next week, ORC will release a second grant opportunity, hoping to find partner organizations that have the capacity to provide SRO or single-room occupancy units to returning citizens. Now that the ORC is fully staffed and moving into its new quarters, we look forward to seeing the office spread its wings and soar to higher heights. I wanted to close by talking about a recent public health advisory that is motivating me to continue to push our departments to do their best work. This weekend, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy released an advisory that shines a light on the crisis of loneliness and social isolation among Americans. The Surgeon General report notes that Americans are facing all-time low rates of social interaction and community engagement, which is contributing to poor physical and mental health outcomes, as well as impacts on our nation's social fabric. The data is striking. 1 in 2 adults report feeling lonely or socially isolated. Half of Americans say that they have 3 or fewer close friends, up from 27% in 2003. All Americans are spending much less time with others compared to 20 years ago. The starkest decline has been among youth aged 15 to 24, who experienced a 70% drop in social participation. And only 16% of Americans say they feel very attached to their local community. Our cabinet is the antidote to this problem in Boston. We offer programming to residents across the age spectrum. We provide special events on a monthly basis for residents of all ages where they can bond with others. We provide arts, sports, fitness classes, and continuing education. We provide opportunities for young people to work in their community and engage on the issues affecting our city. We provide meals, transportation, and help connecting resources. We offer spaces where all Bostonians can meet, be in community with one another, and have the conditions they need to truly thrive. With that, I thank you for all your attention. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Chief Masso. That's quite an office. A lot of programs, we'll try our best to get to it in this short time. I will go into my council colleagues for questions first. Councilor Murphy, you have 5 minutes for your questions.
Sure, thank you, and thank you for your presentations. A few things. Many, if not all, of your cabinets are very forward-facing. So as we come out of the pandemic, just want to reflect that during COVID and the shutdown, many of your offices were like on the front line supporting, and you just mentioned the social isolation, which is something we talk a lot about with our seniors. And when we had the hearing with Emily Shea, and she often refers to the same thing you were mentioning, those health risks that isolation causes. It's the same as like obesity or, smoking so many cigarettes a day. But there's also a 50% risk of dementia for many people if we continue on this path of not connecting with people. So your entire cabinet and all of the departments under you definitely are doing such important work. I also, many of you mentioned it, many of the departments too are new, right? It's like a proud mom. We're celebrating birthdays, and when a birthday, especially your first birthday, I think it's a time to celebrate, but also to pause and reflect. So it's kind of timing up nicely with the budget and look back at what have we accomplished and where do we want to go from here. So always celebrating the good, but really digging into what can we do better. And I think this is a time to then reflect in the budget, like where do we need to grow and what kind of programming or supports do you all need? I know that during the ARPA funding, some departments were given a lot of money, which was great, but then maybe that growth was too quick, or I noticed you have many positions still open, so how can we support on the council ways to make sure that, it's one thing to add money to increase staffing, but if we then can't fill the positions and they go unfilled, it's a different type of burden. So if there's anything there you think we could help with making sure that if it's the wages or what is it that's holding back? I know it's a national problem. It's not just any of your departments facing it. And one last thing just to touch on, you mentioned, Quincy, about the events coming up and how you're including the family. And I often think to, the recovery world, it's the family. In Office of Recovering Services, that's saying like when one person goes to jail, the whole family does. When one person is struggling with substance use disorder, the whole family is. So I appreciate that you are already thinking about making sure the family is involved in a lot of the programming we do. So and maybe that's something we need to add into these departments at different funding levels to make sure that we're not just targeting those directly affected, but those who are their support around them, or departments or nonprofits that are stepping up and helping. So really no direct question, just wanted to reflect on how we can support in the areas that would be more helpful going forward. So when we're here for your second birthdays, we can be having different conversations. So that's all, Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Councilor President Flynn, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, gentlemen, for the important work you're doing, for testifying, and for your leadership especially. Let me start with Frank, Office of Black Male Advancement. And I wanted to try to attend as many monthly events as I can. Thank you for letting me listen. Frank, what is the biggest challenge for young black men growing up in Boston maybe they're in their late teens, early 20s. What is the number one challenge facing them?
I would say late teens, early 20s. I think for all black males, young black men, the number one challenge in the city of Boston is housing, and followed by employment, livable wage, employment opportunities.
Thank you. You see the booming economy. Maybe it's in the downtown area, maybe it's in the South Boston waterfront, but it's not connecting a lot of residents. I know we held a hearing or an informal discussion with members of your committee, members of your team. So thank you for that feedback. Let me go on to Quincy. Quincy, with rise of hate speech, bullying against the LGBTQ community here in Boston and across the country, what is the public message to residents about what can they do, just average, regular citizens of Boston, what can they do to get involved, to say something positive, to write to somebody? But is there a role for just regular people to, if they see something wrong, is there an opportunity for them to get involved?
Absolutely, and we're all regular people, by the way, Counselor. So what I would advise individuals to do is ask questions. Respectful questions, obviously, and a shameless plug for MOLA. We are well on our way to offer organizations our LGBTQ plus competency training. So when people put resources and time into taking trainings, I think that's the step in the right direction. This bullying is nothing new. It's just exacerbated with the legislation across the country. So I think I'm almost certain that Boston is well on its way to be doing the polar opposite and be a model. So continuing just to ask legitimate questions. Me and Frank was just talking about having these difficult conversations. One we're just about to put on in the next fiscal year is homophobia within Black and brown community. So again, approaching those difficult conversations, asking those questions, and having open dialogue.
Thank you, Quincy. And Quincy, I especially like so many things about your department, but I also like the close partnership you have with the City of Boston veterans, making sure that LGBTQ veterans are also treated with respect and dignity. I know you have a great partnership with Commissioner Santiago, so thank you.
Yes, shout out to Veteran Services. That's where I started as education and outreach, so definitely have a special place in my heart.
Thank you, Quincy. And finally, for Jose. Jose, could I ask a question about returning citizens?
Sure.
Okay. When Governor Patrick in the legislature had Corey reform years ago, it was a great legislation. I don't think it went far enough. But what exactly is the City of Boston doing now to recruit, to hire young people, young men especially, but everybody that has a Corey? Is there a place for them in city government? And a lot of these young men want to work. They want to work hard. They have great skills. But what are we doing to encourage them to apply? What are we doing to recruit them?
That's a great question, Councilor. I appreciate that. So within the Office of Returning Citizens, the directive policy has been working closely with the Office of Human Resources to review the hiring practices of the City of Boston to ensure that we have equitable measures, that those that have Corys that are interested in employment have the means to be able to be gainfully employed. So I don't know how far advanced that work has gone, but that is part of the charge of looking at the systems and where we are from the ground level to be able to address that issue.
Are we doing major recruitment efforts, publicizing events in the community where if you do have a Corey, maybe come by this park on a certain Saturday, there's 7 or 8 different city departments that will be here. We are actively encouraging young people or men and women that have a Corey to come to the park, sign up, there might be a job for you. Are we doing that type of outreach?
Yeah.
Sorry, Frank.
Yeah, Frank has been doing this work too, yeah.
So our office actually just partnered with the Office of Returning Citizens for our Project Opportunity Program. When we held a spring job and resource fair, primarily targeting individuals with Corys. And we had over 100 Boston residents to come out. And we had 7 different city agencies there, as well as a number of external partners with employment opportunities, as well as on-site Corey sealing and expungement legal support. So we are working closely with the Office of Returning Citizens on that level. We plan to continue to host those events in partnership with ORC, as well as look forward to the continued conversations on how we look at addressing the inequities with hiring internally for individuals with Corys.
Well, that's important work, and just want to say thank you to you all for the important work you are doing and for your leadership in the city. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you.
Councilor Coletta, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I only have 5 minutes, and I can't stay long, so I'll try to be as succinct as possible. There's so much going on, so much great work that's happening. So just thank you so much for your work again and your presentations. I want to say thank you, Chief, for Clarity Pool. That was a long time coming. That was decades of neglect, and so it was necessary for that investment. Just seeing that community had been neglected for so many years. So I appreciate that, and some of the other capital improvements. I'll put that aside for now, but just wanted to express gratitude. Just to confirm, because we got oh yeah and oh yo, youth jobs is not an oh yeah, correct?
That's correct, it is not.
Okay, so I'm going to, again, put that aside, and we can discuss youth jobs later. The mentoring aspect of all of this, too, is going to be key. That is under oh yeah, correct? There's a mentoringship program that's in the department?
We have the NYC, we have youth engagement, we have youth lead to change, and then BHTA pass. So, amongst other things that they're going to be scheduled with doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Councilor Coletta, the focus is returning citizens for this hearing.
Oh, returning citizens only for this, but not under the Human Services Cabinet. That's not
Just
what we're...
under Human Services,
Okay.
just returning citizens.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So when it comes to returning citizens, something that Councilor Flynn just brought up reminded me just to encourage right now, or just ask, I guess, what is happening in this sense. But when I'm in conversations with major companies, they want something out of the city, Verizon, Eversource, National Grid, MassBio was telling me about some of the things that they're doing. One of the questions that I ask is, are you taking folks with Corys? And they're saying, oh, well, internal policies, this, and this, and they waver. And so I'm wondering, have you talked to the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce? What does that partnership look like with some of our private companies, major companies, that should be doing this work internally within their own companies?
We have not at the moment. I think just in terms of, I think this year has been really focused on building the office itself, but that is a great, point and suggestion, and so that's something that we could definitely look into.
Great. Yeah, just let me know how I can be helpful in that sense too. They are open to it. They're committed to it. I was talking to somebody from Verizon who is bringing it back to the team, and that's something that I think, not just for entry-level jobs though, mid-level management. If we really want to reform the space, I think we need to bring in our private partners.
Absolutely.
Thank you. For Frank, thank you so much. I noticed, in getting really technical, contractual services are at $727,000, but there's also an increase in staff capacity, which is great. We got to get you folks to help you out. But it's a consistent spending item, despite the fact that you're growing in staffing. What do you expect to spend on contractual services for that within that line item?
So a part of the allocation for contractual services are our community empowerment grants that we're providing for support for community-based organizations working with Black men and boys in the city of Boston to kind of expand and increase capacity for the work that they're doing, and make sure that we're supporting folks on the ground that are doing amazing work, as well as we have a number of contract services. We are working on strategic planning right now for the office, as we're a new office, and we're looking at a 3-year strategic plan that we are in the process of working on. That our plan is to make sure that we're updating it, and then every year we're looking back to see what impact we have made, where do we need to revisit, so we're not waiting 3 to 5 years to say something's not working or something is working and we need to have an increased investment in. And as we are continue to build capacity and staff up, each of the programs that are under the office will need additional supports to make sure that they're able to make an impact.
Thank you for that. And I would just encourage you again, not to forget about District 1, East Boston, Charlestown, and the North End. There are incredible individuals, Black men, that, I have talked through the Turn It Around program in Charlestown. I invite you to come out to some of our race and equity dialogues that, I think we need to be a little bit more intentional in going into BPS and saying that we care about you too. So I look forward to that partnership and continuing that. LGBTQ Advancement Director Roberts, you're doing an incredible job. I know that it's only been 10 months, but thank you so much for helping us with Jack's Law and in requiring all city employees.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support. This is so that somebody could have their chosen name on all their legal forms rather than their dead name, so it's reaffirming their dignity. It was something that was brought to my attention through one of my staffers in the North End. So I just want to thank them for being so courageous and brave. How is that going? How is the partnership with Do It?
It's going very well. Don't quote me on this number, but I think we have 2 additional City Hall employees that took advantage of Jack's Law. I know one of our staff, Candace Wynn, she took a full advantage of that. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and thank you for allowing us to work with you on that.
I appreciate it. I know that's my time. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Coletta. Councilor Mejia, you have the floor.
And thank you all for your hard work. I would not have missed this hearing for nothing in the world, so I'm glad that I was able to be here to hear all of the amazing work that you all are doing to advance our people. So thank you. I want to start off with the Black male advancement. Frank, just want to say thank you for taking what was an ordinance, and really developing a whole movement. I just think that you guys have taken the work to a whole nother level, and that is something that we rarely see. And under your leadership, you took some words and put them into action in ways that have been incredibly innovative. So I really do appreciate that work. And as we did in the last year's budget, we fought for more. I honestly will have to say that the men that are in front of us are, I believe, the pathway towards alleviating all of the issues that we see here in the city of Boston. But yet still, that budget does not reflect the dollars that you need to be able to move our people forward. So I am going to say that loud so those in case who are listening, that we're going to be taking some money from other spaces and places to support the work that you all are doing, because I still don't think it is enough for the amount of work that we need to do. So in case Chantel and Neo are listening, know that I am going to be asking for more money for all 3 of these departments. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. I'm curious in regards to, there was a slide around for the Black Men's Advancement Department around foreign-born Black males, and, as a foreign-born individual, anything that deals with immigrants, I'm all in. So I'm just curious if you could talk to me a little bit more about your programming and how you're expanding, because what I see in our diaspora is that a lot of Black men who are Haitian, Jamaican, Trinidadian, when you ask, they don't identify as Black, right? So I'm curious, what are some of the organizing that we're going to be doing to help the diaspora embrace their Black roots?
Thank you for that, Counselor. So one of the initial things that we did in the office we held several community engagement listening sessions to meet and engage directly with populations. We held one for the Cape Verdean community in partnership with St. Peter's and the Cape Verdean Association of Boston. We held one in partnership with the ONS liaison for the Haitian community in Hyde Park, as well as one in Roxbury for the African and Somalian community. And we are housed in the Equity Cabinet along with Immigrant Advancement. And so we are in constant conversations on how to collaborate and make sure that we're supporting individuals that identify as foreign-born and make sure that they realize that this office is here for them, and any supports and resources we have is for them. And so we're going to continue to engage with those populations. And we look forward to, with our current grant process, making sure that we have community organizations that support those demographics, apply, as well as get funding to help support their work and expand their work in the city of Boston. So, you know, we are a new office. As we staff up, we'll continue to make sure that we have increased capacity to make sure that we're supporting that population, as well as working in tandem with the Office of Immigrant Advancement.
I love that. I'm excited, and thank you for that. And, you know, Councilor Flynn asked what you think is the greatest issue impacting young Black men. You had mentioned housing, and I wholeheartedly agree that housing is a fundamental, basic right. And I'm curious, secondary to that, what would you say is one of the most pressing issues?
I shared employment, so career pathways for our young people, for our adults, to make sure that we are preparing them for the workforce. We have a lot of high-paying job opportunities in the city of Boston, and we have to make sure that we're preparing them so they're able to be employed, so they can take care of their families and start the conversations around creating generational wealth to prevent the ongoing conversations around the generational inequities that Black men and boys face in the city.
I can't believe my time is up. And could I ask one more question, Madam Chair? Wow. Will be a second round. So I'm just curious in regards to just coordination. I just want to follow that thread a little bit more. You know, I'd love to hear a little bit more about how your office is interacting, Quincy and Frank. How are you all working more collaboratively in terms of helping to support Black men?
Absolutely. So both of our offices are pretty new, but that's not an excuse. Us getting together recently happened like 2 months ago, where we started this difficult conversation tour in homophobia in the Black community. So as of right now, Black male advancement and LGBTQ plus advancement haven't done a event together or a community conversation, but that's going to be in the near future, and it's around homophobia within Black and brown men, because that's the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it, but Frank and I, we have to talk about it, and we want to talk about it. So, and then when it comes to Chief Masso, it's Amplified GSA. It's the youth work that we're doing, and I've said this offline and I'll say it online, that Amplified GSA will eventually turn into a larger youth conference held by Chief Masso and team.
No, I'm encouraged to hear that. When I worked at MTV 150 years ago, we did a show around, it was on the down low, and there are a lot of young men who are living double lives and not really comfortable with coming out, and that was exacerbating HIV and AIDS and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So I think that there is definitely some opportunities there to explore and to collaborate, and I'll look forward to the second round before I get shut down. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Councilor Mejia. This is just three of us here, so we'll be going back and forth. You'll have plenty of opportunity. I just want to go to Councilor Lujan and one person waiting for the public testimony, get them out of the way, and we'll come back to you. Councilor Lujan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to apologize for missing your presentation. I was dealing with our new arrivals and our new migrants who need shelter and who need so much. And I am grateful to be coming actually out of that conversation into this, because when we talk about centering our communities and our people who are too easily cast aside because of what they look like, because of who they love, because of how much money they do and don't have. And so I am very much right now emotional because of how hard the work is that we have to do to center our people who have been intentionally and historically excluded, to try to fight for dollars that should have been ours a long time ago. I think about the Office of Black Male Advancement and how just the legacy of this country in fooling us to believe that we are somehow the danger and the perpetrators of violence when the greatest violence was done to us. I think about the LGBTQ plus community and how often we think that because we're here in Boston, we have no issues and we have no problem, but yet there's so much homophobia, like you mentioned, in our community, and we see how so many states around this country have been weaponizing, wasting the time of their own legislatures to fight fights that don't exist. And so I thank you for your presence, for the work that you do to always fight for your people and center issues that are important to our communities when so much has been, the structures are built not for us, but to actually harm us and hurt us. And there's so much work we still have to do to fight for these resources. All of you, Office of Black Male Advancement, Office of LGBTQ plus Advancement, if we're talking about the Office of Returning Citizens, there's so much disinvestment in our communities. We're talking about people who have been harmed by our systems, and with returning citizens, our efforts and our work must be to do the healing that has been caused by the harm that we've created in our policies. And I am just deeply grateful for the work that all of you are doing. I want to uplift Rupert Saunders. I know that the Office of Returning, I don't know if you probably did that before, but just getting into office here and doing the work of trying to uplift the Office of Returning Citizens, and I know that he was such a critical player in getting that office to where it is, so my love to him and to his family. And I know that the work is not easy, and figuring out the politics even of City Hall, who do you go to for help, how do you figure out to get more money, what do you ask, who can you bring on your team? So I just want to give my full support to you and the work of your office, because our communities are hurting in so many different ways, and it is incredibly important that we support each other in all the ways that we can to get the work done. So just a few questions. I think that for all of your offices I stated, they're all relatively new, and last year we're able to administer grant programs. I think every single one. Is that something that we're going to be able to see again in this cycle? What have we learned from administering grants? How do we seek to grow that? So just more in terms of like that specific line item. Are we going to be able to give out grants again? What did we learn? Strengths and weaknesses of grant programs. I think that could be helpful for all of us on the council to know. Thank you.
I'll take mine shorter because you have a larger grant. Well, thank you, Counselor, for that. And thank you all for working with us in the Beyond Pride grant. That was an addition that you all allowed last year. So I'm grateful for that. I've learned a lot, Counselor, in this budget. Managing this budget, managing these grants. I've learned that I can't help everyone. And I've also learned that these processes are long and they need to be looked at. And we're working with the budget team. We're working with the community to try to help the process move along faster. For example, my team came up with a vendor video because a lot of people don't know or have access to becoming a vendor. I know it sounds simple to the public, but you'll be surprised how many people don't need help with the vendor process. So I've learned that next fiscal year we will continue the Beyond Pride, but I want to dig a little deeper and try to focus more on individuals versus organizations. That's something that I lose sleep at night about, because people text me, call me, and say, hey, I'm not a part of this large organization, so that's why I didn't get the grant. So not only do I want to change that system, I want to change that perception, because that's not true. If you could write a grant, you probably will get it. So I want to put it forth seminars, workshops to teach LGBTQ folks that are not a part of these larger organizations how to apply for these grants and get them in the next cycle. So we are in our second cycle, and then we will pick back up after Pride and Black Pride, which is in July. Shout out to Black Pride because that gets no shine. We always focus on June, but first 2 weeks of July is Black Pride, Black Gay Pride. Thank you.
I'll chime in, and thank you, Director Roberts. Council, I just want to acknowledge and thank you for your impassioned comments and your support and acknowledgement there. I definitely greatly appreciate it. I know we all do. In regards to the grant opportunities that we provided underneath Human Services and the Office of Returning Citizens, I mentioned earlier in my statement the Youth Development Fund, which provided about $1.5 million to 59 organizations, similar to what has been expressed and Director Farrow had expressed earlier as well. I think we all acknowledging the theme of some potential barriers for especially the not as resourced organizations that may not have access to knowing how to get a vendor ID. That may not have access to a development person to support in grant writing, et cetera. And so I think all in various ways, and I believe with a concerted effort that we all are going in the direction of how to be able to better support them with technical assistance. I think Frank Farrell had mentioned a program in which he's going to be rolling out as well that I highly acknowledge and uplift as well. So I think those are things that we've learned throughout this process this past year of what is that we can do as city agencies and departments to be able to support our neighborhood organizations. Additionally, some key lessons with the Office of Returning Citizens, and some of which you and I discussed. As you mentioned, there's been harm done by these systems in place. There's previous distrust with city government. And so acknowledging that exists, right? And so we were able to have really transparent conversations with some of our community advocates and nonprofit vendors who are really discussing the challenges that they've expressed or experienced, with this process. So I think going back to the drawing board, similar to what has been expressed of like technical assistance, a more equitable way of rolling out the grant funding process, well advanced notice, hearings, just community engagement opportunities where we could actually bring them in and say, hey, this is what we're doing well in advance, of the application process being needed to be submitted. And so just thinking about the timing of it and just want to be very knowledgeable about the timing, the capacity, opportunities that we could actually provide to them as well, just to reduce the barriers. And so once again, we recognize that there's been previous barriers going through this process. What can we do to make this process easier as well? So those are the things that we're acknowledging.
And the process will happen. So you will have the same grant man.
So we are going through this right now. We really want to definitely debrief and figure out how do we do this better moving forward to the next fiscal year.
Okay.
So that is the discussion of like how do we improve this?
But you will have you will have an opportunity for grant making to organizations.
That is the belief, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Jen.
I don't have any more time for questions.
I did extend
You did? Okay.
to 8 minutes as I did for Councilor Mejia.
Okay.
We'll come right back to you guys.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I answer the question as well?
Of course.
Thank
course.
you, Madam Chair. So
Director?
our office has our grant fund is the Community Empowerment Small Grant Fund, where we released $500,000 in grants to community-based organizations with focuses on mentoring and out-of-school time, youth and young adult pathways, housing mobility, economic inclusion and wealth building, workforce training and development, fatherhood engagement, as well as mental health and wellness. And what we learned last year from our grant process, where we gave out $100,000 in grants, now we're up to $500,000, is we had a number of organizations that are doing amazing work on the ground, but they did not have the support for capacity and technical assistance. So from that experience, we actually had to walk through a bunch of organizations to register them as vendors, help them fill out their application process, and we are launching a nonprofit capacity building institute, which provides technical assistance and helps organizations deepen their impact through a combination of one-on-one coaching, peer-to-peer learning, fundraising, governance, board management, storytelling, and compliance supports. We want to make sure that we're funding proven and promising programs, but at the same time, we need to, onus is on us to make sure that we're helping the organizations that are doing great work so they can scale up, so they're able to go to private sector philanthropy to get additional funding, so they can continue to make the impact in the city of Boston. And so we want to make sure that we're not leaving organizations behind because they don't have the capacity to get a grant from us. So we're going to help them, pull them up, so they're able to get those grants from us as well as other places in the city of Boston. So that's a program that we're launching this month, and it will be coupled with our community grant community grants, but we're going to have also a separate kind of pool of money for those organizations that need that additional support. So they'll go through the Capacity Institute. There will be some funds set aside for them as they work to scale up and build capacity. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to have some questions, and mine are going to be like really quick, and then we'll go to Councilor Flaherty, who's rejoined us. But I just wanted to ask you, how are either of your offices working with returning citizens, LGBTQ, and Black male advancement? And I'm so happy to hear, Director Quincy, that you were able to, because that was actually my move. Yes, single-handedly, no, I'm kidding. But that was a huge priority for me to move that money to your office for contracts, to see that you saw the importance in that and you executed.
107 applicants, and we picked 30 out of that. So thank you.
Yes, and probably smaller than they need, much smaller amounts than they need. And so originally I had requested for $300,000 because you were a new office. And I know that you should probably have $500,000 to start with. So hopefully we're able to figure out how we can get the supports of my council colleagues to be able to increase that amount this year. I know that you know what to do, and the need is there. It's greater than millions. As a city, we cannot be able to fund all of these programs or continue to do that in a big way, but I think that a significant, reasonable amount should be reasonable. So I guess the question is, how are you guys working with OPAT, or how are you guys working with each other? And my comments is basically that in the LGBTQI community, there is a lot of racism, especially with between white gay men and the Black gay men community. In particularly, there's a lot of that. And then in the Black community, there's a lot of homophobia and obviously issues with just being out and being accepted in your community, but also safe spaces for Black boys or Black girls, gay or LGBTQ in Black communities. And then with Office of Returning Citizens, then there's all of these stereotypes about, first of all, Black men being disproportionately over-sentenced or mistried or wrongfully convicted in the Black community, but then also the stigma that comes with that, and then not being able to re-enter the workforce, recidivism rates being highest in Roxbury. We have so many subcategories to so many issues and inequities in the Black community, but in particularly for Black men and boys. And you can see why I brought everyone together here in one hearing, because in particularly for Black men, not because people can't pull themselves by the bootstraps, but because Black men have been the most resilient types of human being, second to Black women, but no, I'm kidding. But the most resilient human beings in the world to be able to really pave the way for brown and Black immigrants such as ourselves to be able to come into America and to be able to have ways paved for us to be able to have the opportunity to be in this country, but to be able to build this country, to be able to have to sustain and all of the abuse, in particularly Haitian men not to be accepted, but to be the culture that actually was the first to gain independence and to exemplify what that looks like, freedom for the rest of the world. And now to come all the way to today, from redlining to segregation to all of the systemic oppressions, to mass incarceration, to present day, all of the systemic racism and oppression that exists here in Boston, it's difficult for a Black man to open his mouth and say, here in this city, or here in this building, or here in this country, I am not afforded my opportunity. I don't know if you're racist, but I know that the system is against me, and I know that I'm not afforded those opportunities. How then do we, one, have those tough conversations between the LGBTQ community in Black communities, Black men and boys to be able to be accepted with the white gays, then all the stigmas that come with men that were formerly incarcerated to be able to get opportunities either within both categories. So there's all of these stigmas and stereotypes and harms that are done, and Black men are still pushed to the very bottom, earning one of the least earners, one of the highest for dropout rates in high school, the highest in incarceration, the highest in cardiovascular diseases or other types of diseases, the highest for testicular cancer. You can go on and on and on and on. We die 30 years sooner than a mile away for our counterparts. So how do you work together? How do we have these conversations? How do we, as counselors, support you in having these conversations in the city of Boston so that we're not deprived, we are not afraid to be able to open our mouth because we are afraid of losing our livelihood, to be able to have honest conversations with the administration and others. Yes, we're building capacity, but the need is much greater than what your offices are being offered. And today, it's urgent. Today, we demand that today. But how do we even begin when we ourselves have so much work to do with each other? If you can speak to any of the collaborations, if you can speak to the hard conversation, again, within the Black community and gay men, the hard conversation within the stigmas with recidivism.
And I always go back to Amplify GSA because I do believe that that's a model that should be looked at across the country because it starts at an early age and it's getting earlier now. Like young folks are coming out at the age of earliest 7, 8. And no matter what we think about it, it's happening, so we have to deal with it. So I think I'm going to lean on Amplify GSA as a model to start those difficult conversations because, as I said...
For those at home, can you explain GSA?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm sorry. So GSA, formerly known as Gay Straight Alliances in high school, it's a club like any other club, drama club, theater club, sports club, but it brings the queer young folks and their straight allies together to coexist in this club. And over the years, that club has dwindled, and that's what Amplify GSA is all about, is revamping that, because Boston Public Schools have done a great job of fostering their GSAs, but over the last 2 years with COVID and just life in general, they have been to the wayside. So that's what GSA is for everyone who's listening and watching. But what we're trying to do is just create a model where parents who don't want to have these difficult conversations or don't have the resources to navigate these difficult conversations give them a space. And again, May 21st, 9 o'clock, we will be providing that space with Chief Masso and his team, with Boston Public Schools as well. When it comes to the difficult conversations about homophobia in the Black community, that's something that we've all been talking about for years behind closed doors. And I agree with you, Counselor. It's right now. We have to do it right now. This is why the last 2 months, Frank and myself, as well as Immigrant Advancement, shout out to Director Wynn, Monique, because a lot of people don't know that June is also Immigrant Heritage Month. So it's all intersected. So we are going to have conversations with the immigrant community on how we treat each other in those spaces. So the conversations are coming, but it just doesn't stop with the conversations. It's after the conversations, how are we going to treat each other better? So I know it sounds corny, but we have to, especially the Black and brown community, we have to come together, whether we like each other personally or not, but we have to be stronger together in our messaging. So I think with Frank and I's conversation and bringing the community together, we'll have a stronger message next year, whether we like each other or not. It's not about like or dislike, it's about respect, and that's what's missing. Thank you.
I'll echo what Director Roberts just shared. As our office is focused on supporting all Black men and boys in the city of Boston, and as you can see, Director Roberts is also a Black man.
I'm Black before I'm gay.
And so I think it's important that we are creating.
Say that again.
I am Black. When I walk in a room, I am Black before I'm gay.
And I think it's important that we have those tough conversations, but it actually leads to change, sustainable change, intentional change. So I look forward to collaborating with my colleague, who shares, office space, so we have conversations, and I look forward to having those conversations publicly.
And I do want to go on the record, this partnership is publicly is new, but Frank supported me June 1st when I was announced. Frank and his team show up to my events, so I do want to shout that out because that's also moving in the right direction. Their presence alone helps. Chief Masso, his presence alone at some of my events goes a long way. So
I would just add, I think the collaboration is definitely there. Director Farrell mentioned the connections to Office of Returning Citizens and the work that he's doing with Project Opportunity, and so that exists currently, right? And how it is that we continue to amplify that and really just make sure that we're focusing on that work. Additionally, for the grant opportunities that I mentioned, we had a member of the Black Male Advancement participate in the review process, right? So, and this is something that we'll continue to look forward to doing as we move forward, and just to make sure that we have a line of sight on how these grants opportunities impact the lives of young Black men and boys, right? And so that's something that we'll continue to do. Amplify GSA, once again, for the youth engagement component, absolutely that's there, right? And so that's clearly in line to the mission and the vision of OYEA and the reason why we're actually moving forward with that work. And so that's something that will continue to happen. We did take a look at thinking about the ORC grant, the grantees, how many of them were led by formerly incarcerated individuals, how many of them were BIPOC, and that was like a breakdown that was like put into consideration as well. And so just once again having that perspective and that line of sight and making sure that we're very intentional about that, and that collaboration exists. I think beyond the work that we do, Frank and I go back years to the work of helping residents in our communities, and so really like knowing individuals from a young age to their parents and to their brothers, et cetera, from those that we've lost, et cetera, like really knowing what it takes, and to be able to do it at this level, at this time where we're looking at systems, where we're looking at policies, and where we're looking at sustainable change. I think it's just a beautiful thing, and just to echo what Councilor Louis Jean had mentioned earlier as well. And so, as you mentioned, the time is now as well. So,
Thank you. I think the hard conversation, and I'll wrap my comment up so that I can be fair with the time. I think the conversation is difficult because whenever in government, the loudest voices get heard. And so people that talk about environment or LGBTQ community or abortion, all important issues. And so those issues go to the forefront. If you want a dog park and that's important and you're loud about it, that's going to be a priority. And then when you talk about Black men, when you talk about Black bodies, I mean, Black men are more than just returning citizens and LGBTQ or Black male advancement or the need of. Black men are, of course, again, the most qualified to change this world. Like we have been, you have been through everything and more, but still seen as lesser human. And I think that when a society prioritizes the people and reactive, a government is reactive to policies that for the loudest voices, then because environment is super important, but meanwhile, Black men are dying and Black men are being killed. And there's injustices that keep Black men behind and not employed. Yet that's not so much of a priority. Your office will get less than parks. Your office, all of you combined, will get less than environment. Because guess what? Although you die at a faster rate than environment can kill you, you're not a priority because your voice is not loud enough. And so I want us to be able to have these conversations in a transparent way without fear of repercussions, without having to be tokenized over and over and over and over again, without us having to accept the status quo or the crumbs that they throw our way. We, Black people, Black men, deserve more than crumbs, and therefore needs to be prioritized, therefore needs to be able to hold your head up high in City Hall, in government, and be able to walk through these hallways and to be able to speak about the issues that affect us. Yes, Asian, for example, men don't get seen, are often seen as just a body, a machine, a worker, not seen, not acknowledged. But guess who's at the bottom? Guess who gets even paid less than Asian men? Latinos. Guess who get paid even less than that? Black men. So it's not about us competing with each other, but making space for us to be able to speak about these issues in an open platform and be able to begin reconciliation and healing without having to feel that we are threatening each other's spaces. The reality of the state of the matter is that we, Black people, you Black men, are at the bottom of the totem pole and are treated the least, are treated with less respect. And as Malcolm X said, the most disrespected person in America is still the Black woman. Today, till this day, this government, this city still treats Black women that way, and Black men, yes, as just a body, sexualized, commoditized, incarcerated, and killed. And when I begin to speak this way, oftentimes it's a lonely place, and I'm okay with that. But I know that you are doing the work, you're doing God's work, and I applaud you, I support you, but I want to encourage you, all of you, to be able to stand up and not be afraid of losing your livelihood or what you can leverage, but to be able to have this conversation and stand with us all and pull us on our support and our power to be able to represent you and to uplift these issues and to be able to continue to do the work so that we can actually build true racial equity. And when I say it, so that people don't feel threatened, again, of losing their jobs and their positions, or why is it all about race? It is about race. It's always about race, about you. You named me, you categorized me, you colored me. And here we are still, 2023, when I, a Black woman, just this little short 5-foot tall woman, starts talking about it, it's a problem. So it's not about me. Yet, somehow, when I open my mouth, it's always a problem. The fact of the matter is, again, is that Black men get treated the worst. And this is way more important than just a hearing that only a few of us show up to. This is way more important than 1.5 million, whatever 100,000 you get in your budget, whatever 2 million you get in returning citizens. This is way more important. So I yield there. I love you, Black men. Especially the gay ones.
Thank you.
Don't get jealous, Frank. I'll go to my council colleague, Council Flaherty. I'm so sorry for going off so passionately there and taking up time. Council Flaherty, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's great to see you gentlemen. And Frank, obviously, for the work that you do. We probably see each other more outside of City Hall, out and about. So I know that you're at events across the city and you're building partnerships that I think are necessary for your department to grow. And same with Quincy. You're fortunate. You're in a great position, and particularly because Boston today is, is much different than it was, say, 10, 20, 30 years ago. And I speak as the very first to support marriage equality here in Boston on behalf of the City Council. First to co-host the first gay prom here at City Hall. First to be a longtime supporter of the Boston Living Center, and also to have been honored by Mass Equality. So, and that was when it was not popular. That's when folks were grappling with domestic partnership at the time, as opposed to, and civil unions, as opposed to marriage equality. So I've been there with the community during all of those efforts and those fights, and obviously then, and Jose, for the work that you do, and again, seeing you being able to dovetail with your function, but also to work with other departments and other department leaders across the city. It's been refreshing to see the work that goes into it, and maybe just expand a little bit upon the chair's point about loudest voices being heard and coming at it from a fiduciary responsibility. It's loudest voices do tend to be heard, but you also need to be able to point to deliverables, right? So we're in a budget process and everybody's scratching and clawing for funds, and you're competing, as she referenced, with a multitude of different departments and priorities and needs, et cetera, from capital to operating. And so on that note, I want to get a sense as to, I guess, what are the metrics that you use? What are the measures of success? Is it employment opportunities? Is it housing opportunities? Is it higher education? Is it connecting folks that come to you in your various departments to resources that help them? Is it folks cleaning up quarries? Is it being able to keep their kids in school? Frank, you had alluded to, 20% of black males have school-age children, and obviously working with Jose and working with BPS, whether it's to keep kids in school, whether it's to help with those graduation rates, whether it's stemming the tide of violence that's been permeating our schools. So those are the things that, as someone that's putting sort of the fiduciary capabilities in budget capacities, those are the things that I'm looking for. Knowing you all individually, knowing how hard you work, seeing you out in the community, particularly as a citywide city council. So I know that we're all moving in the right direction. We're all pulling for you and for your individual successes and the successes of all those that work under you to make our city even better. And my point, I guess, is what are the things that we should learn or know about those success stories, and how can we help you expand on those partnerships, whether it's the trades or the Teamsters or it's educational opportunities. We boast of the best colleges and universities in the world. What good is that if our own kids that live in the neighborhoods of Boston, don't have a shot at getting into those schools? And the ones that do, more often than not, are home after the first semester because of the academic rigor or other things that are happening either in their home or in their community. And so sort of, I guess, turning that tide around to make sure that we're putting the appropriate amount of pressure on our college and universities to provide opportunities for our kids. I mean, you literally, you could be in the Taylor apartments, and you literally look right across the street at two schools, Northeastern and Wentworth, and most of those kids have zero chance of ever getting into the inside of the building to participate in the classroom instruction. Yes, they may walk by the school, and yeah, they might have an opportunity because of a community partnership to play on some of those fields, but being able to walk across the stage with a diploma from Wentworth in Northeastern for a kid that lives in the Taylor housing is maybe it happens every once in a while, and I can go through every neighborhood. You could be the Faneuil Street projects over in Brighton, and I'm from the Old Harbor projects in Southie. But you could be in Faneuil Street looking straight over it. You're smushed in between BU and BC. Most of those kids don't have a shot there. You could be in the D Street projects in Council Flynn and I's district. You can look straight down D Street to the new emerging South Boston waterfront, life sciences, STEM, technology, and have no shot other than maybe being a security guard or working the mailroom or the loading dock. Completely unacceptable. We continue to support growth and development. We want our colleges, our universities, our hospitals, our health centers to prosper. We want CEOs to move their companies here and bring those jobs with us. But if those jobs aren't trickling out through all of our neighborhoods, if we're not preparing that next generation to be able to be in the corner office, to be the CEO or the CFO or the general counsel, we've got the loading dock covered, we've got the mailroom covered, right? We've got the security guard and the window washer and the folks that actually build the building covered, but those that actually work there and those wages, those salaries, and that generational wealth we're swinging and missing. So you folks, the three of you gentlemen in your respective capacities have the ability, I guess, to help us kind of turn that around. And so a little bit, not as long-winded as the chair, but I wanted to opine on that because I'd really like to get a sense as to how each of you, in a short snippet, just how do you measure success for Office of Black Male Advancement? How do you measure success for the LGBTQ advancement? And Jose, how do you measure success for Office of Human Services and Returning Citizens? What are those things we can point to say, you know what, not only do we need to fund you, we need to expand you, we need to increase the funding and your capacity to service more men and women of our city. So thank you, Madam Chair, and I'll just await the individual responses from the chair. And again, I thank you for the work that you do. It's an important function, an important role of our city, and this is a partnership. Clearly, we're asking questions and looking for answers so we can support a budget, but it's also your opportunity to kind of maybe swing for the fences and say, you know what we need in addition to what we've asked for. Now's your shot to say we could also use one of these and two of those and three of these, and that's kind of this opportunity. But thank you again for your time and attention and for the partnership, and you guys can respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. I guess I'll start off for our office. You know, one of the primary things that we're actually looking at is that college to career pathways for our young people, and so making sure that there's a clear investment and support from private sector, from our institutions, and that we're training and preparing our young people for the jobs of tomorrow as well as the jobs of today. So we're not, 5 years from now, we look back and, we missed the opportunity of preparing them for the jobs of tomorrow. We're seeing it with life sciences where there are thousands of, jobs available right now, but Black men and boys in our community are not prepared for those jobs. So having an intentional focus on, making sure we're looking at the employment, market for today as well as the future, and that we're working closely with our schools, our community partners, our city departments, to make sure that we are preparing our young people for those jobs. So, make sure that they're able to see themselves in college. We just came back. We did a college tour where we took 50 BPS students on a college tour. Some of them their first time leaving the city, leaving the state, and being on college campus. And we want to make sure that they see that it's attainable and they can see themselves on these campuses. And as far as the education side, make sure that we're closing the achievement opportunity gaps for Black male students. We have the lowest graduation rate for 18 to 29-year-olds. The least likely to be enrolled in college than any other Boston residents right now. For employment, highest unemployment rates. Over 60% of Black males working full-time make less than $50,000 a year. So there's a lot of work that has to be done as far as Black men and boys and inequities in the city of Boston. And so having an intentional focus on where we at baseline across these inequities so we can track improvements year by year. And then, creating pathways to home ownership. It's important that we have these conversations of, I mentioned earlier, Black men and boys face, the most long-standing generational inequities. So our role is to transfer that to make sure that we're talking about creating generational pathways to wealth building, success and advancement of black men and boys in the city of Boston. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. So I just want to start off by saying everything that MOLA does is intentional, from the people we hire, where we outreach, our focus on Black and brown trans individuals. So I'll try to answer your question on how we measure this, and please let me know if I'm not answering your question. So we have 3 pillars, and that's policy, program, and connecting folks to resources. We call it PPR instead of CPR. We're giving our community PPR. So when we talk about policy, the way we measure is the gender ordinance. A year ago, or almost a year ago, next month, the mayor said, first 90 days, Quincy and his team are going to tackle this gender ordinance. Of course, it took us longer than 90 days, but we can point to the success, and now it's off to the State House. So I think that's a win for the city, and also other states and cities are looking to us for leadership. So that's one way to measure. And then the programming. We have the Beyond Pride, Amplified GSA, where we're providing a direct need. Yes, Boston Public Schools are doing amazing work when it comes to GSAs and our students, but we're amplifying that. We're giving them more resources, more of a platform to do this work and brag about this work. So, and then last but not least, the resources. I can't talk enough about the Beyond Pride mini grants, because that is resources, that is money directly in the hands of individuals, and I can't stress this enough, individuals and organizations that are already doing the work. I'd like to shout out my team, Julianne, John, Candace, Denasia, and we do have youth fellows as well. Shout out to them. Everything we do is a part of the plan that Julianne and I set out almost a year and a half ago. So I'm very proud to say that our strategic plan is the same exact plan. So,
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll quickly just talk about the Office of Returning Citizens is to reduce recidivism, right? And so definitely with our key focus on the 3 years post-incarceration, what supports we're able to provide. It's individualized. You know, the issues could range from employment to housing to substance use disorder, et cetera, but really want to make sure that within those 3 years, they have the tools and resources to be successful to not return. And then from a systemic level, looking at the policies I mentioned earlier around the Corey hiring policies, for example, that's measurable. The free birth certificate, so when folks return home, having access to birth certificates and identification as well. So these are just 3 quick, identifiable things that we focus on and things that we can also measure as well.
Very good. And thank you again, through the chair, for the work that you do. And please keep me and my team, on your mind as a partner in resources. Everybody's hiring. The trades are hiring. The Teamsters are hiring. Eversource, National Grid. So there are great opportunities there that are Corey-friendly and that are great jobs, great wages, great benefits. That those are careers, frankly. So in addition to STEM, but there's 1,000 jobs in the city that are available. So there are employment opportunities there, and sometimes it's connecting folks to that opportunity. Some folks, it's just telling them what the job is about. If you say to a kid in the street, you want to be a tin knocker, do you want to be a longshoreman? They don't really know what that is, right? Because a lot of those trades have been familial, passed down, uncles and cousins. And so allow me to or my team to help in this council to work with you to make sure the stagehands will they're looking to put, anytime there's a show in town, anytime there's a concert, graduation, staging and lighting, they're putting people to work. So let's work together and let's kind of create those opportunities where someone's getting a good wage and a good benefit. They may like that trade and that becomes a career, or maybe not, but it sustains them in the short term while they're trying to figure out where they want to go. So I think the sky's the limit, and now's the opportunity to kind of step on the gas and continue those partnerships. So thank you again, gentlemen, for the work you do, and thank you, Madam Chair, for letting me go on a couple minutes past. Thank you. And to my colleagues for their indulgence.
Thank you so much, Councilor Flaherty. Councilor Flynn, you have the floor. We have approximately about 35 minutes. If each of my colleagues wants to take up to 10 minutes or less, and then I'll take the final 5, if that's okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I had the opportunity to ask my questions to the 3 panelists here, and they answered my questions, and just want to acknowledge the important role they play in the city. And I don't necessarily have any questions, but just want to thank them for the important moral leadership you're playing in Boston. I think people respect you and look up to you, and just want to say thank you. I have an opportunity to join Frank usually every month at his meeting, and I only say that because the way Frank conducts as the chair conducts the meeting, listening to people, listening to your members, giving them an opportunity to speak, giving them an opportunity to talk about what's on their mind, and gathering their opinion. And sometimes people disagree and sometimes they agree, but you're always treating people with respect and you're always bringing people together. So just want to acknowledge the commission's work and the way you treat people. Same with you, Quincy and Jose. Madam Chair, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Council President Flynn. Councilor Mejia, you have the floor. I just wanted to explain that our testimony became written. She's going to submit it in writing, so just so that people are watching, I didn't skip anyone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just kind of want to follow the theme from my Madam Chair in regards to the lack of investments. You know, this is my 4th budget cycle, and what I have learned here in the city of Boston is that, as Councilor Tito Jackson used to say, the budget is a value statement, and what we fund is what we as a city believe matters. And you know, budget season after budget season, we get presented to what Councilor Anderson says is crumbs.
Excuse me a moment, Councilor Mejia. Sorry, we could hear you echoing. If you still like to testify, we're happy to take that. Oh, no. Yeah, so if I was under the impression that you were going to submit it in writing if you wanted to testify? No? Or are you testifying today? Okay, please wait your turn, but we can hear the noise, so we'd like for you to quiet down. Thank you so much. Councilor Mejia.
Thank you. So here's where the level of frustration comes from me, is that having grown up here in the city of Boston, I have seen decades of disinvestments in communities of color, and we are not meeting this moment when it comes to the work that these times require. And we're always asking people who are doing the most to work with the least. And I really do think that if we're really serious about changing the conversation, then we're going to have to change the way we do business. And that's going to require a little bit of a hard work. And Quincy, I love that you said this is not hard work, this is hard work. Because the work that we're trying to do here is shifting culture and shifting the way people treat each other and see each other. And I think that that work, we can't legislate. We cannot legislate policies, and we cannot invest in dollars when the culture in which we happen to be working in still does not see us, or value us, or respect us. So the work that the city needs, it's going to be a little bit more challenging for us to be able to meet the moment, because the appetite and the political will to say, this department, thank you very much, we see you and we appreciate you. However, deep investments in this area, human services, people development, this is what we need to be investing in. We're not going to meet this moment because people are afraid of upsetting those who put them in office. Period. And in order for us to really shift the conversation, then we're going to have to shift the way we as a council show up. And so I would recommend, as we continue to move these conversations forward, because we still have 2 more months of these shenanigans, is to really take a hard look at ourselves and say, if we really want to reduce violence, we're going to have to increase human services. We're going to have to increase the development of Black men and boys. And so that is about values. And I think that as my colleagues continue to go through this process, you can't show up in community and say that you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then when it's time to vote on a budget, do A, B, and C. It just does not mix. And so I just want to go on the record to say that for me, I'm going to be looking at investments. I'm going to be looking at the return on those investments. And if you're not doing right by the people, then you will know about that too. So questions. I'm curious about, about language and how we talk about our people. What efforts are being made? I always say it's important to lead with assets, not deficits. We're not vulnerable, we are resilient, right? So I'm just curious in terms of the work that your office, any of your offices are doing to shift even how we talk about our people.
Well, I'll take a stab at that. Additional to what LCA is doing, as I said earlier, everything that we do is intentional, including the hiring. So we're not perfect, and we're only a team of 5, but we have 2 Spanish-speaking staff members, and we have 1 Vietnamese. Yes, we can do better with language and language access, but that is a huge part of my job descriptions and the intentionality of me hiring folks. So I'm looking for different languages, different cultures, going back to what we talked about in immigrant advancement and how a lot of immigrants don't really acknowledge the queerness. So we're trying to change that through employment as well, like intentionally hiring immigrants that identify as queer, because we could do a better job of that. So that's what we're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about literacy. We established a literacy task force, and what we have found is that a lot of our returning citizens are struggling to read and write, and we're asking them to fill out job applications. And as we begin to onboard our literacy task force, I'm just curious what, if anything, we might be able to do around literacy rates for our returning citizens. Any advice that you could offer?
That's a really great question, Counselor. I don't know what organizations offhand are focused on this topic, so I can't speak to that specifically. I think holistically, the office is really trying to identify the key issues that our returning citizens are faced with, and how does that be incorporated. And then what I am encouraging as chief of the cabinet is the collaboration. So, for example, we have libraries, right? And so how does that we have cross collaboration between our departments, and so how the Office of Returning Citizens can work closely with the libraries to really be able to uplift the resources that they have at their disposal to be able to support our returning citizens.
I love that. And I'm going to offer 2 things, and I know my time is going to be up quickly. I don't know how many years ago, I worked with the Sheriff's Department. It's a program called Family Matters. And the work that we did was we were connecting our loved ones who were behind the walls with their children, and trying to create opportunities for the young people to still be connected to their parents, because we saw that as a disconnect. And so I'm curious, they're returning, but what are we doing in preparation when our returning citizens are coming home? Are there any opportunities for connecting families together?
There's an intention to work closely with the returning citizens prior to their arrival back home. So it's about 90 days or so to intentionally be able to work with them in terms of what their needs are. And so to your point of being able to reconnect with family members, to the point that I made earlier around social isolation, if they're coming home alone, if they do have families but don't have access to be able to connect with families, et cetera, with the work can be done there. So like some mentoring around that, supportive services, mental health support, et cetera, to be able to fully, when they do return home, what does that now look like? There are some organizations on the ground level that are doing this work intentionally, that are really intentionally focused on connecting families and loved ones to those that are behind the wall. And then once they return home, what does that connection now look like as well? The office itself is not leading those efforts. We are definitely in support of those organizations that have been on the forefront, from day 0 to be able to focus, say, hey, this is an important topic. This is something that we're focused on as well.
Yeah, I love that. Because I think that just the safety net is really key. And then the last thing, our office a year or 2 ago started working with several nonprofit partners to create something very similar to the nonprofit Capacity Building Institute. Frank, that you mentioned, and we've been working with 12 mutual aid groups and developing their leadership capacity, helping them learn about funding opportunities, and now they have a whole fellowship program. So if there's any way that I can connect you to some of those folks who are doing the work, I'd be more than happy to build that bridge, because I believe, like, if everybody's rowing in the same direction, we're all going to get to where we need to be. So happy to make that connection. And the last thing that I will say is, I really do appreciate you, Chair, always bringing in the heat, because I think a lot of people get a pass, and we have a lot of theatrics here in this chamber when it comes to really getting into the weeds of this work. And I think that we can do a better job at showing up for our people, because they are counting on us to do things differently. And this is the first time that we have the most diverse cabinet, the most diverse, council. We have a progressive mayor. There is no reason why we can't get this together. And if we can work collaboratively across all of our differences in our departments, we can move our people forward. But I think that only if and when we're able to do that work together is how we're going to get to where we need to be without leaving anyone behind. And people just need to stop worrying about their little power, because we're here and we're about to take it all, period.
Thank you, Councilor Mejia. Councilor Lujan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thanks again for being here and for answering all of our questions and indulging us. I have a question for Quincy. You mentioned it before, that there's growing anti-trans sentiment. All these legislators around the country wasting their time enacting policies that will harm our loved ones and our folks in our queer community. I'm thinking about how can we as a city double down on our welcoming on being welcoming and inclusive to our LGBTQ plus community. Could we do I'm headed to a story time that I'm doing for Haitian Heritage Month soon, which got me thinking, can we be doing, your office be doing, partnering with BPL, Chief Marceau, to think about doing LGBTQ plus story times in our BPLs like across the city, and maybe that being an opportunity for you to do work in deep partnership with the Office of Black Male Advancement, just thinking about ideas about collaboration with all of our resources in our departments in the city.
Yeah, I love those ideas, and we're also, the team and I, we're trying to map out what Amplified GSA is going to look like after the summit, because we want this to be 365. We don't want parents to get all this resources and then we're like, peace out. So I think that's a great idea to incorporate with Amplified GSA throughout the school year. Story times, also proms, that's something that we focused on in the middle schools, in the Hurley Middle School, trying to bring back, I think Councilor Flaherty brought that up earlier, but trying to bring back queer proms, because those are safe and brave spaces as well that worked 20 years ago. Let's see what that looks like in 2023, 2024 with more resources and a different feel for queer folks in this day and age. But yes, I think story times are great, but we also need some adult story times as well. Because
that's true. That's
adults
fair.
need to be enlightened with what goes on in the queer community as well. So
great point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Quincy. Frank, sorry, I should be calling Director Farrow. If you, and Director Roberts, but if you want to,
I thought you said doctor. I was like, no,
well,
me
hey, okay. But it's something that I've been meaning, and I know we've been meaning to sit down, and that's my bad, but the trades, and I think Michael Flaherty Councilor Flaherty alluded to this, like there are so many jobs available. Well, we also need to make sure that these jobs are also welcoming and that our people feel like they can succeed and thrive there. And so I had this great conversation with some folks in the building trades that are management, and a lot of our building trades is slowly becoming more diverse, looking like our communities. And there's some Black folks in leadership that really do want to do the work of how do we help our membership in our unions feel like they can run for leadership positions, and I think that there's an incredible opportunity with your office, because that's how we get our folks to feel comfortable in these jobs, if they see more of us in leadership positions. It isn't fully true, but I often say it, that it's really hard for us. You can't be what you can't see. And if our folks can't see themselves reflected in these leadership positions, then that's gonna be a problem, right? obviously someone has to believe that they can be what they can't see, or you never have a first, right? But it's really hard. And so I just think that there's an opportunity for your office to be doing work with our brothers and sisters leading our siblings in the building trades, really leading the work on making sure our trades look like our communities. These are good family-sustaining jobs that come with health care, dignity in work, and dignity in retirement. And I think there's an opportunity to work with a lot of these members who are in unions and maybe not, for whatever reason, not stepping up for leadership roles. And I think that that could be a good entry point for y'all to be doing work together. So,
Thank you.
and then for Chief Masso, I sort of feel bad asking you these questions because I know that it was Director Mayo who was supposed to be here. But, we worked really hard on the rapid rehousing program that we fought for in last year's budget, and wanted to know if you have any sort of updates on sort of where that rapid rehousing program stands, and how that process has been. Is RFP open? I know that there may be a meeting on my calendar to discuss this further, but if you have any information on that, I want to ask that. And then another question, something else that we've talked about, is the anti-aid amendment, which really hinders our ability to give direct assistance to our people. And we're talking about city departments where a lot of the aid that our people need is really material, like how do you give them assistance? And so how are we working within the parameters of the law and within the parameters of what the anti-aid amendment says we can and can't do to make sure that we're getting resources in the hands of those who need it the most?
Sure. So we experienced that. To your question earlier in regards to the lessons learned about this grant process. What is it we can and can't do? And so I think there were some limitations with the city operating budget of what is are we able to grant out for. And that was an educational moment on both ends, right? So both for the office and for the grantees. And so really being able to focus on the programming or opportunities or resources that they were providing to returning citizens, and how is that we're able to amplify that while being able to be supportive of acknowledging that they're actually doing the work as well, right? And so as was, been thoroughly discussed here and from everybody's experience of these are smaller organizations that, more than likely the ED is also the one that's running programming or anything else like that, right? So how is that we're supportive there? So I think moving forward, trying to figure out what it is that we can do to be fully supportive, with acknowledging the limitations that we have with dealing with taxpayer dollars, right? And so just really want to be just, transparent about that. To the other piece, the rapid rehousing, I don't believe we're in a space in where the RFP is going out at the moment. The connection and the discussions with the Mayor's Office of Housing has taken place. It's been acknowledged that the 1.1 million, I believe that's what it is from ARPA, that would sit, the program will actually live.
At MOH, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
With
And
ORC, excuse me, ORC.
Oh, the 1.1 is going to live with the ORC.
For the program piece, yeah.
Okay, the programming, that makes sense. And then, so back to anti-aid, the reason why it's important, right, and you see this, is why it's important to build a relationship with DO, Department of Corrections, so that folks, before they get out, the biggest barriers they have is access to basic things like IDs and RMVs, and we help in a one-off effort, but it's really important to either we work on policy to help waive those fees, and we did work really early on when we were fighting for this budget on how do we streamline and make easier the process of folks coming home, getting IDs, which is you need an ID for just everything, except for voting, where you don't need an ID and you shouldn't need an ID, but you need it for to get a job and to get access to housing and things of that nature. And so if we could sort of convene and think about that, if it's how do we give someone $50, or do we work with the department to waive these fees? My office too many times has had to call the RMV on an emergency basis. Someone's coming home, but for some reason, for their own safety and protection, they can't stay in their neighborhood and they need an ID to go across state. And so it'd just be a lot easier if our office is able to help people directly. And even if we're not able to help folks directly or coming home from incarceration, if we work with the RMV to really develop policy, or even work with the folks downstairs to think about how we get folks access to vital documents like birth certificates and things easier, and waiving payments. So just want that to be something that we continue working on. So.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Masso. Thank you, Director Roberts, Director Farrow, for all you do to really center those who have been excluded and harmed by our city and our country and society. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Jen. I have some questions. I'll just narrow them down to 5 minutes. And feel free to submit them in writing. I will also have admin send it to you as well. And these are just more budget questions. So this, for Office of Black Male Advancement, please explain the lack of changes to the budget, which the exception of the small increase of $624,000 in personnel. So the rest of the line items have no change in request for 2024, FY24 appropriation. And so is there capacity there for you to do contracts, and you haven't requested funds for that, and why not? In writing, you don't have to answer right now. Has the department had success in building equity and innovative structures that help break systemic barriers? So specifically to the city or outside. And then if that's reflected in the budget, please let me know. The website mentions that there are no upcoming events. So if there's any gap of updating stuff, if we can figure out how we can do that a little bit faster. I know that there is a lack of capacity with Do It as well, because I'm thinking about increasing like a capacity with them, because I filed an ordinance to make it law so that counselors have to update like how we vote. And everything, like everything, project policy, what we're working on, what we're doing, how we're voting, to actually publicize that. On our web pages, it gets a lot of foot traffic, and I mean a lot of traffic, not foot traffic, but viewers, and it's underutilized. It only says our like bio and nothing else. So anyway, Do It needs another person. So if there's an issue there with Do It, please explain if they need more capacity to have that person update all of our web pages in the Boston.gov website. And then how is resource development for Black men and boys in Boston progressing? And if you see a progress or decline, whatever it is, let me know. This one, as far as which positions dedicated, you've already explained. Does your office plan engaging with community members and stakeholders? And you've explained that, sorry. Your office is asking for $1,036,385 in permanent employees, and so far has only expended $199,000. And so the update there, and if you're increasing capacity, you've explained some of that, but if there's any way that we can talk about how to increase capacity. How does the department plan on funding? You already said that. And then I'll stop there. I do have some more questions. Again, I'll submit the rest in writing. And as far as Office of Returning Citizens, if I can get, in terms of the individual intake forms, from like start to finish, what is the process from the minute someone either calls or walks in or whatever, to being connected to resources, the actual scope of work there? There are 3 people on the team. Can you please explain in writing the offset by the third-party collaborations, such as Boston Legal Services, which provide Corey services? Obviously, I believe that this is one of the most disinvested offices, and I'm trying to figure out exactly the services rendered and in collaboration with city resources or outside resources, any collaborations, if increasing capacity makes sense or not. And then to what extent is the coordinated response team supported by the Office of Returning Citizens? Where do they receive their funding from? And then what was the reasoning behind separating the Office of Returning Citizens and Office of Community Safety Program? And I know that there was, I've heard some conversation, or in press conferences, I've heard some conversation, but specifically, if there is a plan in place coming, and I know you guys are working on something, I'd like to know a little bit more about that. As far as the Office of LGBTQ community, where are the Amplify GSA initiatives included in the budget?
So that's a part of the increase from last.
Okay.
That's why the exact number for Beyond Pride mini grant is 157 I'm looking at my chief of staff.
I moved 150. I don't know what the rest, but
And then there was additional 50. I think the 50 was already there. So
Yeah.
we took that to do Amplified GSA and also some other programming I talked a little bit about briefly. We did a documentary for queer elders of color. So we used the money for that as well.
Okay. Yeah, great. I think one of the issues is that, like you'll say, oh, that money belongs in housing, or that money belongs in public health, but then
We did it all.
you did it all. And so exactly my point is that when we move money to specific, for example, Black men advancement, we know that there needs to be an office that prioritizes Black males, right?
Absolutely.
And so for that purpose, the argument of, oh, that should belong in housing is moot. No, because there is an equity issue or an inequity issue here. And historically, people have not prioritized this issue. And that's why there's an office of LGBTQ, right? Plus advancement. So when we are making those sort of negotiations with the administration about moving monies into contracts, I understand that in personnel, you're good. It looks like you're good. But in terms of contracts, I think I'm really interested in getting my council colleagues, and I know that Councilman Mejia has mentioned it, to increasing in terms of how do those offices prioritize that population. I think it's because you understand it, because you're not going to be differential. And so the rest of my questions were answered. I'd like for you to listen, to hear Ms. Melissa Andersdorfen. What's your name different yesterday? You have
I
two
changed it
last
up, I
names.
switch it up. I don't really have anything. I watched this hearing on the way here, the live stream.
Can you please state your name and affiliation?
My name is Melissa. I'm not affiliated with anyone. I'm a lone wolf, I should say, a lone she-wolf. But I was thinking about, sorry, let me unlock my phone. Where did I have it? So, pardon me, sorry, I can't see anything.
We are closing out. It's quite all right if you want to submit it in writing, Melissa.
Oh, so this is a caption from an artist named Jack Walls. He doesn't live in Boston, but he's formerly a gang member. He identifies as a Black male. He's done some portraits. You can look him up. But as you may or may not know, I recently got a new studio space. I changed the locks because the landlord enters with his own set of keys whenever he feels like it. The situation's super toxic, so toxic that the cops told me to change the locks and make the landlord sign a 48-hour notice to enter. I'm sharing this because as an artist and dealing with this mess, I'm finding it really difficult to focus on making art. Thank you all. Prayer hands emoji. Now, if you look up Jack Walls, like his work is renowned, it's known. But the fact that someone like this is still dealing with an issue, like a landlord issue, one that I similarly litigated last year, we need a universal income basic pilot program. We need guaranteed income. There was mention of ARPA funds. Cambridge just used their ARPA funds to reinvest in and refund this universal income pilot program. As far as the intersections or even individually of returning citizens. And let's not forget, just because someone hasn't necessarily been incarcerated, if they have any involvement with the criminal justice system or just exist under a criminalized identity, they're essentially a returning citizen. I've been told that, this would have to come out of the operating budget, and someone asked me from the mayor's cabinet if I was serious about this. I am. If you look at there's research behind it, and then there's just practicality. As someone who identifies as a gay woman myself, I know what it's like to have to perform the emotional labor of appearing straight in order to work certain jobs as a hostess. Jobs where I'm expected to, appeal to heterosexual normativity, whatever the big words are for it. I don't have previous involvement with the criminal justice system, but a lot of people that I work with, do outreach with, people in my family, my friends, they do. They can't even, like it was mentioned, they can't even get their IDs. and they're constantly seen as, engaged in criminal behavior, or eventually they get pushed to the point where that's the only means of economic survival. So I kind of made it a point to be a lobbyist on this. I'm going to come to every hearing that they have and just keep pushing this. We need direct cash assistance for folks. We need to show, affirm their dignity and show, you're grown, we're going to give you a shot, we're not going to micromanage, how you take care of yourself, but we're going to actually directly invest in you. Because there's too much time that's wasted with the bureaucracy and having to wait for board members of a nonprofit to approve this or that request. We have to get help to people immediately. Stop allowing LGBTQ plus citizens and residents of the city to feel like, even if they are out, that they have to perform a certain kind of identity that fits in with the rest of society just to be able to get a few tips from working a server job, which is important. It's important to feed people and take care of one another and, work in the hospitality industry. So I can't stress that enough. Please look at, there are other countries. There's a city across the Charles River from us. They got the return of their investment with ARPA funds, with the direct cash assistance. So I really urge these offices who are doing great work, look into this. It's just so common sense. You know what I mean? It helps the economy. It helps so many people out. It moves people away from, moves people away from decisions that, would otherwise have them getting back into these systems that, they're trying to get out of. Just give people a chance to get free. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Once again, every single department deserves its own time and conversations. And I apologize that the schedule can only allow us to compact these hearings all together. Looking forward to further conversations with you and inviting you to the working sessions if necessary, so that we can talk about the stuff in a practical sense in terms of moving monies if that's necessary at all. It's always a good budget, and you always need more money. So it's not that, the recommendation is a bad one. It's more about prioritizing what we're working with. Thank you. Do you, any of the panelists have any last comments before we close?
I do. Shameless plugs. June 1st, we'll be having our first flag raising in 3 years. So I would love for everyone watching, listening to be there on the plaza 4 p.m. to raise the pride flag. Thank you.
What day of the week is that?
That is on a Thursday, and we will be here from 4 to 8 on the plaza, celebrating not being tolerated, but being celebrated. June 1st, 4 p.m., flag raising. All are welcome.
I have it on my calendar already, but that's not a hearing time, is it?
No, we did it on a Thursday because we were told that mostly Wednesdays and June 1st will never change for us because that's the beginning of the month. So even if it's on a Sunday, we are going to be doing flag raisings. But yeah, it's a Thursday after the hearing, I think, 4 p.m. we'll start.
We hope to be able to close early. Hopefully, and see you there. I definitely want to be there. And yes, there's a hearing until 5 o'clock, but I will do my very best. The party's just getting started. Yeah. Got it. We'll be there for the party. I'll do my very best to close soon if the conversation allows it, so we can be out there, or go in a brief recess so people can just go for the flag raise.
Please.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'll just end by saying thank you, Madam Chair, for your work on the council and your support of the office, as well as the Commission on Black Men and Boys and the rest of your colleagues in helping us launch the commission and advocating and making recommendations. And we look forward to continued partnerships to uplift and empower Black men and boys in the city. And, just thank you for all the work that you're doing on the council.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to echo the colleagues for sure. Just thank you, Madam Chair, for all of your work and support, and to your colleagues in terms of with the cabinet and the departments as well, and just really uplifting and naming it. So we appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you all. I'm very proud to call you my partners in work,
Absolutely.
in the work, and look forward to more. Hearing adjourned.
Thank you.